From the moment the sun rises, on the tarmac and in the terminals, the busy business of aviation is in full swing. Australians took 11 million trips last year. Most agree the great cost of going far is far from great.
Before COVID, it was much cheaper than that, but nowadays it's pretty expensive.
Very much looking for the bargains.
And we're going cattle class.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that now Virgin have gone into bed with Qatar. I think more entrants in the market make it a little bit more challenging for the other boys, but it will be hard.
At the dawn of the new millennium, a world-renowned billionaire launched a budget domestic airline in Australia. Virgin Blue was born with just 2 aircraft. Branson and an Aussie businessman sought a small portion of the market to take on Qantas.
Ansett collapsed after 66 years flying, putting 16,000 people out of work.
Virgin capitalised on the collapse of Ansett, snapping up a large fleet for a small price and a 30% share of Australia's domestic market in just 3 years. The airline grew, started short-haul international trips and rebranded as Virgin Australia.
Well, we like to keep reinventing ourselves.
Virgin is certainly not a full-scale airline. I call it half an airline.
Playing second fiddle to Qantas and its superior terminals, lounges, business deals and lobbyists.
It's very tough for a competitor that can't match those attributes.
Meanwhile, in the Middle East, the Qatari government's Doha-based carrier has soared, voted the world's best airline, despite concerns over the country's human rights issues and support of terrorist states.
Interestingly, Qatar has been investing globally. It's got 25% of BA, Iberia, significant part of the Latin airline, a bit in South Africa, and this adds to its pattern of worldwide investment.
The investment spree continues down under. Last week, Qatar made an official bid to buy a 25% chunk of Virgin Australia off Bain Capital, the US-based investment fund which bought and brought Virgin back from the brink a few years ago after the COVID pandemic. A green light would essentially allow Virgin to fly where Qatar flies.
For the passengers, this is excellent news that it will boost competition, which typically means that prices will come down. A lot of other airlines will have to sort of improve their game as well.
Professor Rico Merkert foresees a greater frequency of flights between Australia and the Middle East, a key international transit hub.
It's likely that the frequency will be double of what we see today. And the exciting bit for particularly frequent flyers might find Doha quite attractive because it opens up the door to all these other destinations as a hub.
Qatar's reach out of the Middle East, and by virtue, Virgin's, exceeds the reach of its primary competitor and Qantas's major partner, Emirates. Flying direct into 166 destinations versus Emirates' 137. Under the deal, Virgin will lease Qatar's newer, bigger, faster aircraft.
And with that aircraft, they will get the insurance, they will get maintenance, and they will also get the crew. I think that is a massive win.
Former ACCC Chair Alan Fells says Qatar's backing equals more capital, more scale, more passengers, and a greater chance of domestic growth for Virgin.
Probably this will bring airline and Qantas prices down in Australia because it's got a more formidable competitor that will chase an increase in market share. That should be good for consumers, probably.
Standing in the way of those probabilities are approvals from the ACCC and the Foreign Investment Review Board. Bearing in mind, last year, Transport Minister Catherine King rejected Qatar's previous major bid to fly new routes into Australia, citing national interest and humanitarian concerns, namely the strip search of 5 Australian women in Doha.
There is no one factor that I will point to that swayed my decision one way or the other.
The controversial decision led to a Senate inquiry in which the government defended accusations it rejected the proposal to protect Qantas's bottom line. that's not expected to happen again.
I see no problems with ACCC approval because this is clearly more competitive. And with the Foreign Investment Review Board, I'd be really surprised if they knocked back something with promise for consumers and more competition.
They'll want the deal done soon before Qantas claims another competitive edge. It's Project Sunrise offering direct airfares from Australia's east coast to Europe and New York on custom aircraft, bypassing the Middle East altogether. An option for those who have the budget and stamina to sit on a jet for 20 hours straight.